Emperor Ashoka is often remembered as a symbol of peace, a ruler who embraced nonviolence and compassion, and whose name is now synonymous with the spread of Buddhism across Asia. But the story of how he came to power is far darker and more complex than the legend suggests. His rise was marked not by mercy, but by a relentless pursuit of the throne. Behind the legend lies a tale of ruthless ambition. Ancient texts claim Ashoka killed nearly all his brothers to seize the Mauryan throne. The palace, once filled with laughter and the promise of unity, became a battleground where only the most cunning survived. The Mauryan court was a nest of intrigue, where survival demanded merciless resolve. Plots and betrayals were woven into the very fabric of royal life, and trust was a rare and dangerous luxury. Ashoka didn't just play the game of power, he dominated it, eliminating rivals with chilling determination. Each calculated move brought him closer to the throne, but at a terrible cost. This was no impulsive act, it was a calculated purge, sending a clear message. Ashoka would tolerate no dissent. His actions struck fear into the hearts of both his enemies and his own people. His reputation for cruelty defined the early years of his reign. Stories of his harsh punishments and iron-fisted rule spread quickly, casting a long shadow over the empire. Understanding this dark beginning is crucial to grasping the magnitude of his later transformation. The seeds of remorse and reflection were sown in these blood-soaked years. The man who ordered the deaths of his kin would one day preach compassion for all living things. The weight of his actions would haunt him, shaping the path he would eventually choose. Ashoka's journey from Chandashoka, the cruel, to Dharmashoka, the righteous, is one of history's most dramatic turnarounds. His transformation was not sudden but the result of deep inner turmoil and a search for redemption. His story reminds us that even the most ruthless rulers can change, and that the darkest beginnings can sometimes lead to the brightest legacies. Born around 304 BCE, Ashoka entered the world as the son of Emperor Bindusara, ruler of the vast Mauryan Empire. Despite his royal lineage, Ashoka was not the favored child. The court's attention and affection were reserved for other princes, leaving Ashoka to carve his own path from a young age. His mother, Subhadrangi, came from humble origins, which placed Ashoka at a disadvantage in the opulent and competitive royal court. The other courtiers often looked down upon her, and by extension her son. This early experience of exclusion shaped Ashoka's determination and resilience. Yet, Ashoka's ambition and natural talent as a warrior soon set him apart from his brothers. He trained relentlessly, mastering the arts of combat and strategy, earning the respect of seasoned soldiers and generals alike. Recognizing his abilities, Emperor Bindusara entrusted Ashoka with important responsibilities. He was sent to govern distant provinces, first Ujjain, a vital city in the west, and then Taxila, a strategic center in the north. In Ujjain, Ashoka faced numerous challenges, including local uprisings and political intrigue. Through a combination of diplomacy and force, he managed to restore peace and build a loyal following among the people and local leaders. When Taxila erupted in revolt, Ashoka was called upon to restore order where even the crown prince had failed. His decisive actions and fair governance won him admiration and respect, both from his superiors and the people he ruled. These experiences far from the capital honed Ashoka's leadership and military strategy. Away from the watchful eyes of the court, he learned to make tough decisions and adapt to rapidly changing situations. Ashoka learned to command armies, manage resources, and spot weaknesses in the empire's defenses. He became adept at balancing the needs of his soldiers with the demands of administration. His successes were not just administrative, they were stepping stones in his calculated path to the throne. Each victory, each challenge overcome, added to his growing reputation as a capable and visionary leader. Away from Pataliputra, the imperial capital, Ashoka quietly built the foundation for his eventual claim to power. He forged alliances, learned the intricacies of governance, and prepared himself for the challenges ahead. Every victory brought him closer to the imperial seat, setting the stage for the remarkable transformation that would define his reign and change the course of Indian history. The Mauryan court at Pataliputra was a glittering stage for deadly intrigue. With many wives and sons, Emperor Bindusara's court was rife with factions and rivalries. Ashoka, seen as an outsider by some, was a threat to the powerful clique supporting the crown prince, Susima. Ministers and generals plotted constantly, turning the court into a chessboard of shifting alliances. Key figures like Prime Minister Radhagupta saw Ashoka's potential and began to support him in secret. This alliance gave Ashoka vital intelligence and guidance, helping him navigate the treacherous political landscape. In this world, trust was rare, and every move was calculated. Ashoka learned to mask his ambitions and strike only when the moment was right. The court's constant scheming hardened him, preparing him for the brutal struggle ahead. Power in Pataliputra was never given, it was seized. Ashoka was ready to do whatever it took. When Bindusara fell ill, the Mauryan court erupted into chaos. With Susima away, Ashoka raced to Pataliputra, seizing control of the city and its resources. His claim to the throne was immediately contested by his brothers, sparking a brutal war of succession. For years Ashoka systematically eliminated his rivals, the most infamous being Susima, who was allegedly killed in a cunning trap. Whether or not the tales are exaggerated, the violence was real. Ashoka left no challenger alive. The bloodshed cemented his reputation as a ruler to be feared. The claim of 99 slain brothers may be legend, but the reality was a ruthless purge. Ashoka's victory was total, but it came at a terrible cost. The river of his brother's blood washed away all other claims to the throne. He emerged as the undisputed master of the Mauryan Empire. After seizing the throne, Ashoka's early reign was marked by terror. He ruled with an iron fist, earning the title Chandashoka, Ashoka the Cruel. Legends tell of Ashoka's hell, a torture chamber disguised as a palace where no one left alive. His administration was ruthlessly efficient, with spies everywhere and harsh punishments for dissent. Ashoka expanded the empire through brutal military campaigns, subjugating new territories with force. He was respected for his power, but not loved. Fear was his tool, compassion, a weakness. This period of cruelty set the stage for his later transformation. Ashoka was a tyrant, until the horrors of war changed him. 8 years into his reign, Ashoka set his sights on Kalinga, the last major holdout in eastern India. The invasion was massive, and the resistance fierce, resulting in one of the bloodiest wars in history. Ashoka's own edicts record the staggering toll: 100,000 killed, 150,000 deported, countless more perished. The Daya River was said to run red with blood. Though victorious, Ashoka was haunted by the devastation he witnessed. Burned villages, grieving families, endless suffering. The triumph felt hollow, the cost unbearable. For the first time, Ashoka confronted the true price of conquest. The Kalinga War shattered him, sparking a profound personal crisis. The emperor who had reveled in power was now consumed by remorse. This was the turning point. Ashoka's days as a conqueror were over. The horrors of Kalinga ended his appetite for war. From the ashes of victory, a new Ashoka would emerge. Ashoka's remorse after Kalinga transformed him completely. He turned to Buddhism, seeking redemption through nonviolence and compassion. Embracing Dharma, he made moral righteousness the foundation of his rule. Ashoka renounced conquest, declaring a victory by Dharma as the only true victory. He created a new class of officials, the Dharma Mahamatras, to promote justice and welfare across the empire. Ashoka launched public works wells, rest houses, and hospitals for people and animals. He banned animal sacrifices and promoted religious tolerance. His reign became a model of a welfare state, focused on the well-being of all. Ashoka's transformation from tyrant to righteous king was radical and unprecedented. Compassion, not fear, became his legacy. To ensure his message would endure for generations, Ashoka took an extraordinary step. He had his principles, his vision for a better world, carved into the very bedrock of his empire. These were his famous edicts, etched in stone so that time itself could not erase them. These inscriptions, placed at crossroads, city centers, and remote outposts across the vast Mauryan Empire, spoke directly to the people in their own languages. Ashoka wanted every subject, from the bustling cities to the quiet villages, to hear his words and understand his intentions. The edicts reveal a ruler who saw his subjects not as mere followers, but as his own children. He urged them to practice kindness, generosity, and respect for all living beings, regardless of status or background. Ashoka openly confessed his deep remorse over the suffering caused by the conquest of Kalinga. This moment of reflection transformed him, leading him to promote religious tolerance, nonviolence, and a vision for a just and compassionate society. He supported all faiths, not just Buddhism, and called for harmony among religions. Ashoka's edicts encouraged respect for diverse beliefs, fostering an atmosphere where people of many traditions could live side by side in peace. Determined to spread his message beyond his borders, Ashoka sent envoys, including his own children, on journeys to distant lands. They traveled by foot, by horse, and by ship, carrying his ideals as far as Sri Lanka and even to the west. Through these efforts, Buddhism was transformed from a small sect into a global faith, its teachings taking root in new lands and cultures, inspiring countless people across Asia and beyond. The edicts were not boasts of conquest or power, but heartfelt appeals for compassion, righteousness, and the welfare of all. They invited people to reflect, to act with empathy, and to build a more just world. Ashoka's legacy was now set in stone, both literally and figuratively. His words, carved into pillars and rocks, became a permanent reminder of his ideals. His vision was of a righteous empire guided by moral values and compassion, not simply a Buddhist one. He dreamed of a society where justice and peace prevailed. Through peaceful persuasion and the power of his example, Ashoka changed the world, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire humanity to this day. Ashoka's legacy is one of history's most powerful transformations. From ruthless tyrant to saintly ruler, his life proves the human capacity for change. Rediscovered centuries later, his edicts inspired modern India's leaders. The lion capital became India's national emblem, the Dharma Chakra, its flag's centerpiece. Ashoka's ideals of peace and justice continue to shape India's identity. His influence spread far beyond India, making Buddhism a global religion. Ashoka showed that empires could be built on moral authority, not just force. He remains a symbol of enlightened leadership and redemption. His story challenges us to look beyond good and evil, to see the complexity of power and change. Ashoka's journey from bloodshed to compassion offers timeless lessons for us all.